Revit View Range Explained, Floor Plans and Reflected Ceiling Plans. Hello and welcome to our new video. Today, we'll talk about view range in both floor plans and reflected ceiling plans. Let's get started. View range is a set of horizontal planes that control the visibility and display of elements in a plan view. The position of these planes is just one of several settings that affect whether elements are visible in the view. Because view range is defined by horizontal planes that are parallel to the level of the view, it's often easier to understand how it works by looking at a section view. We'll split the screen inside Revit. While we're in a section view, if we go to Properties and scroll to the Extents section, we can see that there is no view range option. View range is available only in plan-based views, such as floor plans, structural plans, and reflected ceiling plans. That's why we don't see this option in sections or elevations. Now, when we switch to Level 1 in a floor plan view, we can see the view range option in Properties. Before we open it, we'll zoom in a bit on the diagram in the section so we can clearly see the reference levels. Now, let's click Edit View Range, also referred to as the visible range of the plan. In the dialog that opens, we can see that view range consists of the primary range and the view depth. So when we look at view range in a plan view, we're effectively looking from top to bottom. The horizontal planes that define the view range are the top, the cut plane, and the bottom. The top and bottom clip planes define the uppermost and lowermost limits of the primary range. The cut plane determines the height at which certain elements in the view are shown as cut. Together, these three planes define the primary range of the view range. View depth is an additional plane beyond the primary range. By changing the view depth, we can display elements that are located below the bottom clip plane. By default, the view depth coincides with the bottom clip plane, so nothing below it is shown unless we adjust this value. Elements in a plan view are displayed using the cut line weight, the projection line weight, or the beyond line style. Elements within the primary range are shown either as cut or projected, depending on the position of the cut plane. Elements that fall within the view depth are displayed using the beyond line style. To change the display of line weights for cut or projection elements, we use the Object Styles tool. Go to Manage Object Styles, where we can see the line weights for projection and cut. Some categories already have line weights assigned, which we can adjust. For other categories, the cut line weight may not be defined. When an element category does not have a cut line weight, the category is not cuttable. In that case, the element is drawn using the projection line weight. To change the display of the beyond line style, use the Line Styles tool. Now, let's look at the cut plane and how elements behave when they are intersected by it. By default, the cut plane is set at a height of 120 centimeters. We can see that the cut plane intersects sliding doors, walls, interior doors, and a window. In a plan view, elements that are intersected by the cut plane are drawn using the cut line weight of their category. If an element category does not have a cut line weight, it is not cuttable and the element is drawn using the projection line weight instead. There are some exceptions to how elements intersected by the cut plane are displayed. Walls shorter than 6 feet, or 2 meters, are not cut, even if they intersect the cut plane. For certain categories, individual families are specifically defined as cuttable or non-cuttable. So, in plan view, we see the window this way because it is intersected by the cut plane. If we move the window above the cut plane, but at least part of it still remains within the primary range, below the top plane, it will appear like this in the plan. If we move it below the cut plane, it will not be visible at all. In this case, Revit can only display the opening projection if the family includes opening graphics. We will replace this window with a window that has opening graphics and move it to the section so we can see it in the section view. We can see that the opening graphic is visible even when the window is below the cut plane. The same applies to doors. We see them in plan when intersected by the cut plane, but if the cut plane doesn't intersect them, only the opening projection is visible. In short, walls, doors, and windows are drawn using the cut line weight. We can see that this casework is drawn with a dashed line and neither intersects the cut plane nor is below it. When we move it, nothing changes. It only disappears from the plan when it completely leaves the view range. This element uses the projection line weight with the plan representation set to above cut plane, which is why its appearance doesn't change when it moves above or below the cut plane, as long as it remains within the primary range. Now let's open Object Styles and change the projection line weight for the doors to 4, and also change the color to blue, so we can see the effect. Next, let's set the projection line weight to 2 and the cut line weight to 6 to observe the difference. We can see which parts of the doors are drawn with which line weights. Finally, we'll reset the line weights back to their original settings. Next, let's talk about elements below the cut plane and above the bottom clip plane. In this case, these include the table, chairs, cabinet, and bed. They are drawn using the projection line weight because they are not intersected by the cut plane. Next, let's talk about elements below the bottom clip plane and within the view depth. By default, the view depth is 0, which means it coincides with the bottom clip plane. Elements within the view depth are drawn using the Beyond Line style, regardless of their category. First, let's modify the Beyond Line. Go to Additional Settings, then Line Styles. Increase the line weight to 4. Choose a red color, and change the line pattern to dashed. We don't see any change yet because the view depth is still 0. Now, go to View Range, click Edit, and change the depth. Let's first set it to -100 and click Apply. We can see a small red line. Increasing the depth to -150 now reveals the structural foundation. Some elements are exceptions: floors, structural floors, stairs, and ramps located outside the view range. Even if they fall within the view depth, these categories still use the projection line weight instead of the Beyond Line style. Since this element is an exception and uses the projection line weight for its category, let's modify it. Set the projection line weight to 4 and choose yellow. We can now see the change both in plan and in section. Finally, let's reset it back to the original settings. Next, let's talk about elements above the cut plane and below the top clip plane. These elements are not displayed in a plan view unless their categories are window, casework, or generic model. Elements in these 3 categories are drawn using the projection line weight as viewed from above. We can see that these shelves are not visible in plan. They belong to the Furniture Systems family category, which means that to be visible, they must be intersected by the cut plane. When we move them so that the cut plane intersects them, they become visible in plan. Let's also look at the second section we have. This is the section here. In plan, we see the window like this because it is above the cut plane. When we lower it so that the cut plane intersects it, we can see its cut projection. Here, we can observe the doors and how their line weights, projection, and cut are displayed. I'll also lower these shelves to see that they only appear in plan when they are intersected by the cut plane. Next, let's raise the cut plane height to 180. First, we'll adjust it in the diagram. And I'll also move this window so that it aligns with the new cut plane height. Now, let's update it in the view range. We enter 180, click Apply, and we can see the changes. The section of the stairs has changed, it appears taller, and we can now see the shelves because they are now intersected by the cut plane. Now, let's move on to view range in a reflected ceiling plan. On the left, we have the section, and on the right, the ceiling plan for level 1. Reflected ceiling plans also have a view range setting, but with some differences. Unlike floor plans, reflected ceiling plans look upward from the cut plane, which is why the logic of top, cut, and view depth works differently here. A reflected ceiling plan includes the cut plane as part of the primary range. Cut planes in a reflected ceiling plan are often set above the head height of doors and windows. The cut plane in a ceiling plan corresponds to the bottom clip plane. The bottom clip plane is disabled when adjusting the view range of a ceiling plan, meaning the bottom setting of the view range is not used in a reflected ceiling plan. Elements that fall within the primary view range are drawn using the projection line weight. The area between the cut plane and the top of the view range defines the primary view range of the view. The view depth is measured upwards from the cut plane. Elements that are not in the primary view range but fall within the view depth are drawn using the beyond line style. By default, the cut plane in a ceiling plan is set to 230. We'll change it to see how it affects the ceiling plan. First, on the diagram, we can see that the cut plane will pass through the shelves, casework, and doors. Now, let's go to the view range and change the cut plane height to 180. Click Apply, and observe what happens in the ceiling plan. We can now see all the elements that the cut plane intersects. We can see that the view depth is above the top plane. By default, the view depth in the view range is 0, which means it coincides with the top plane. We don't see anything above it. This is because we have the floor slab and ceiling elements in the model. First, let's create a hole in the ceiling where the table is located. Now we can see the chairs. Why? Because they are at the top plane, meaning they are part of the primary range, so they are visible. Next, let's change the view depth. We'll enter 60 and click Apply. Now the table becomes visible. If we increase it to 90, nothing changes because no other elements fall within the view depth. If our cut plane is correctly set, but only a few elements are not visible, there's a solution: plan region. Plan region allow us to locally override the view range without affecting the rest of the plan, making them ideal when only a few elements are causing visibility issues. Let's place and position these shelves above the cut plane at 210. As expected, we don't see them, while the cut plane at 180 still works correctly for all other elements. Go to View, Plan Views, Plan Region, and draw a rectangle above the shelves. With the Plan Region active, open Edit View Range. We can see the settings from the existing view range. Let's change the cut plane to 210 and now the shelves become visible. We'll slightly reduce the size of this view range box. You can copy and place it in multiple locations, but note that two plan regions cannot intersect. Plan regions are most commonly used for windows. Let's create another one. We'll add a window. Draw a plan region around it. And since its sill height is 91.5, we'll set the cut plane to 92 so it intersects the window correctly and everything displays as intended. And that's it. View range is one of the main reasons elements appear or disappear in plan views, so understanding it gives you much more control over how your drawings look and behave. Once you understand how these planes work, you can precisely control what Revit displays. Avoid a lot of trial and error in your plans. We hope this tutorial helps you improve your Revit workflow. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tutorials.